Make sure my microphone is on. What's up, you guys? How are y'all on this beautiful Sunday? Hopefully more of you guys can tune in since it's Sunday. Okay. Lighting is right. Phone is on Do Not Disturb. I'm going to wait for y'all to come in a little bit. Oh, let me make sure this is being monetized. And I am not seeing you, boo. Why do you do that? Why? Okay, let me know, you guys, if my fan in the background is doing too much. I don't even see my live on YouTube, so let's see what happens. My brain has to do so much to go live. Like, I feel like, okay, here we go. I'm gonna turn it off. I'm gonna turn it off. You guys, come. Come in. I'm gonna turn the monetization off. Okay, because last time my video was up all night and it wasn't monetized. Okay, cool, we in that thing. What's up, you guys? I missed y'all from yesterday. Wasn't that yesterday when I went live? Y'all know, my YouTube tribe, y'all know I just be going with the flow. I don't even really be knowing what day it is. Only reason why I know today is Sunday is because I had a session today. That is the only reason why I ever care to know what the days of the week. I don't even care to know what the days of the week are. I just care about the day that I have a session. So I don't miss the session. That's literally all. So I don't even be present for all of the other stuff. All right, let me make sure I'm monetized here. And then let me make sure that I'm on Facebook. Come in. Y'all, this story is crazy. This is the most amazing story I have. And I feel like I say that about every session. I feel like I say that about every session, but no, for real. This one right here, I don't see myself live. Y'all, let me know in the comments if you see me. If you're here, let me know you're here if you're here. And like we always do on YouTube, you can tell me where you're from. Where are you watching me from? Okay, I'm seeing myself now. I don't see my title, but yes, I'm gonna give you guys a little more time to come in. I appreciate you guys for coming in. You already know I keep an oil on me. Today I am using Pomarosa. Pomarosa is one of my favorite oils. I use this for my births. This is actually the only reason I bought this oil. But yeah, it feels so good. It feels so good and it smells so good. Like literally the texture feels good. Okay, so I'm gonna be sharing today a story of one of the MDR sessions that I did. It was about a year ago. This session still plays in the back of my mind. I'm kind of stalling so I can give y'all time because normally when I am telling a story and then I gotta like repeat. So, so bear with me if you're here in the beginning. Before I get started though, I do want to talk about my raffle that I'm doing. It closes on Wednesday. Let me put this information here in the comments. So, oh, hey, what's up? You see, I didn't even see you was in here. I'm glad I opened up these comments. So what's up, Goten? Am I saying it right? Goten Huggins? So real quick, you guys, before I get started, I am telling a story, okay? So stick with me. This is an amazing story. But I want to give my email really quick. What is my email? It is daylightearthschool.com. This is what you can send me the screenshot to. This is indigo, oil indigo, yep. This is my Zelle. My Cash App is Woman Tree. This is supposed to all be the same thing, y'all, but they don't let me change stuff. So Woman Tree, Cash App, and it's $10. Oh, y'all can't even see none of this. So here we go. It's coming up on the screen right now. Hopefully on Facebook you can see this pop up. This is my email. Take a screenshot real quick. This is my Zelle. And all this information is on the flyer. I just uploaded the flyer to YouTube and to Facebook. So you can get all that there as well. But I just wanted to share it real quick before I get started. This is the Cash App. The tickets are only $10. It closes on Wednesday. This is so that you can take advantage of an MDR session, which stands for multi-dimensional regression. That's where I take people into parallel realities to release trauma and karma, and also to get confirmation. They also get to speak to their soul team or their deceased loved ones and get closure from that. You get to ask them any questions you have. Really amazing healing experience. And then also you can choose from a reading with me. So my readings, for those of you who don't know, they are more like intuitive coaching. I tap into my guides and yours to utilize them to answer your questions and to help you navigate through difficult problems or things. So yeah, today and for the next 3 days, you can take advantage of these things for the price of a ticket of $10, okay? This is a huge thing. I promise you guys, we are gonna be looking back on these videos and people are gonna be like, damn, she used to be offering this for $10 a ticket, because it is not gonna be the price. What I do is not even worth, what I'm doing is worth way more than what the price is even on my website. You can go visit the only other Black woman who does what I do. Her name is Neyoshi. Her ticket is like 400, okay? Neyoshi's been doing this for like 10 years though. But also the things that we do is very different. Like she went to school. I didn't go to school for this. So it's very different, but it's still the same kind of thing, same kind of healing. And you can see what this is actually worth. This is the future of healing. This is the future of our medicine. This is where we are going as a collective as we step into our superpowers. So my videos of me advertising and promoting and sharing the affordability, they're going to go in the archives. Okay. People are going to be like, damn, like, I wish I was alive 15 years ago or 30 years ago when she was offering this. Okay. All right. So we're going to get into this amazing story. Let me make sure that the comments are on Facebook. Y'all, this is just like, this blows my mind. It blows my mind every day I think about this. Okay. I want to make sure I'm not missing nothing. I have comments here. All right. So, where do I start with this? Let me start with saying that I do have permission to speak about this session. I am not sharing any confidential personal information, and the session specifically that I am sharing, as I do with all the sessions that I share, I do have full approval and permission from the client to talk about this and share this. Okay, I want to start there because I am very big on privacy and people feeling comfortable and confident and trusting in my service and in myself. Now, one thing that I love about this work that I do, and this is going to answer some of y'all's questions. I just got an email today about this. Some of you guys are interested in doing what I do, and you're looking at things like QHHT, and I don't know what else is out there that are teaching you, that teach something very similar. I'm not going to downplay anybody's thing that they do. I love Dolores Cannon. Dolores Cannon got into this work just like I did, without reading any books, without going to school for it or anything. But I do want to encourage you guys to just tap in. Like, I didn't go searching for this. I allowed for, and this is what everything I do, from my intuitive coaching to my painless birth work, I don't never go and be like, ooh, this is what I want to do. Let me go and pay $3,000 for a course to do it. Not saying that you can't do that. I'm not saying that you can't do that. Okay. Let me make that clear, because some of you all's courses in life require that. But a lot of you guys are just not trusting yourself. That's it. And you might even need like someone to kind of navigate you a little bit through it, but it's not like you literally need like this certification and you cannot do it without it. If you just listen to their voice inside of you, that is your certification. You're going to get your experience and you're going to be your own expert. The people whose books that you're reading and the classes that you're taking about damn near anything that has to do with like spiritual, natural healing and stuff like that, most of those people started off by listening to their intuition, by listening to their guides. They didn't actually go to a school and a course and things like that. So again, I'm not downplaying anybody's journey. You know, everybody's going where they're supposed to go. But I do want to encourage you guys to trust yourself and to not always feel like you have to get somebody else's approval and certification. There's nothing that I do that actually pays my bills that I have went and learned from somebody else. It is all original. It all is coming from myself. I allow for my guides to take me there. And then after I am doing the thing, maybe depending on what it is, then I will go and get a book on it or something like that. Like obviously my birth work, I had to go into a school, shout out to Ubuntu, birthing school, to get the certification part, like to get that part in like medical terms. But I was already a birth worker for years. It was something that I didn't even want to do. I was called into it, you know. I think there's a huge calling for us to step more into what is calling us and what our purpose is, and not so much of what we've been raised and taught about, which is like, what career do you want to do? More so of who are you going to be and what did you come here to leave your mark as, versus the career of the thing that you're going to act out and become an expert at or take a bunch of tests, you know, and do. There's a big difference between that. And I'm so big on it. This is how I homeschooled my brother. This is how I homeschool my children on. It's passions versus career. It's like what you really came here to be versus the ego and all the rest of the outside stuff and make sure I get the money and da-da-da-da-da. Like, you know, when that stuff naturally comes, and even when money comes for so many people, they're not happy and they're still trying to find their passions. So I just wanted to, you know, say that little piece. What else? Okay, so I was actually going into this because I wanted to say how one of the things that I love about this work is that I don't have the pressure to control anything or to be this perfect, you know, healer and coach and whatever. Like, I am so trusting in my guides. Like, I would be a fool to have gotten where I've gotten and to not trust them, because they have led me so far this way. And I even want to stop talking about them like they're separate. Like, I mean me, I mean us, I mean our higher selves, I mean source energy, right? So that's one of the things that I love about this. I never really know what's going to happen in a session. I have no idea which way that we're going to go. It's just like how life is supposed to be, guys. You're not supposed to know what's happening next. It would kill all the fun. So when I got this client that reached out to me, what she asked me was something that honestly, I didn't even know if I could help her with. Like, I was just like, and this always happens, why do you think I can help you with this? Like, this is the magic in following your intuition and being obedient to your calling, because people know that I can help them heal. And this has honestly been since I've been on social media, way before I even knew that I was supposed to be doing healing. But people will reach out to me, email me, message me, and be like, hey, I got this problem. I got this thing. Can you help me with this? And I used to be like, especially before I was really embracing myself, I would be like, what is it that told you that I could even help you? Like, why did you just message me? I don't have no flyers. I don't have nothing in my bio that says that I do this. Like, what in the world is making you think that this is something I could do? I'm only highlighting these things so that you guys can get them for the raffle. And if you want to gift me, of course, but this is really the reason why I'm sharing it. So, man, that is so crazy to me. I'd be like, why? I didn't even tell you I could do this. But it just shows you the truth in us walking in our calling and walking in our purpose. Because way before I was doing this, people knew, like, your intuition, your spirit will know that a person can help you and that a person is meant to guide you for however long or whatever. And you won't even really understand why you are reaching out to them. And if nothing else has taught me, like, I know this for a fact, like every single client that I help, every single person that I connect with and I help to change their life and help them to see the light inside of them, we never really know what's going to happen before it happens, you know? So this lady, she is she's an elder. She's like over 50, over her 50s. And she reaches out to me and she tells me that she had an experience when she was about 4 years old. I think she was 4. And yeah, let me see, because I actually have her thing up. Was she 4 years old? I think she was 4. And look at all of this, y'all. This is all of the people's sessions that I have done and people that I have helped heal. Like all of this. This is like, I'm old school. I don't want this stuff on the internet, okay? So I'm writing things down this helps me document every single case. So she told me that she had went paralyzed when she was about 4 years old, and her family never knew why. They never knew how this happened, but she stopped walking. She could not walk for about 7 years. And she, since then, of course, she is, over her 50s now. And she just wanted to know why this experience took place. And she wanted to know why she is still been dealing with, wait, where's my cup? Oh, she wanted to know why she was still dealing with leg like pains and things like that in her arteries. I'm sorry, in her limbs. And so, yeah, she's like, I want to know if you can tell me what happened that day when I was 4 years old, like back in the 60s, and that whole thing. And I've never done anything like this. Like, I'm used to connecting people to their deceased loved ones. I'm used to taking people into, whatever parallel realities to pull out trauma. Like, I just was like, why do you think I can help you do this? But I remember what my guides tell me all the time, which is that I am not in control of this. They are. Source energy is. Your guides are in control of this. I'm just the facilitator. So I was like, damn, like I remember dead ass, like I was gonna email her back and tell her that I so appreciate that she thinks I could help her with that, but I couldn't. Like that was my my first thought, my initial thought. And then I remember what my guide said, and I was like, all right, let me just do this then. And so we do this session. Hello. Thank you for tapping in. Thank you all for coming in. So we start this session, right? Let me make sure I'm not missing anything. Hold on. Y'all, the story is crazy. Like, if you guys ever read my stories about these MDR sessions, I have tried to write about this story like 5 times. It is so deep. I can't even, I feel like recently the words are coming to me better, but it's such a deep story. Like, I can't even believe this story right now. Okay. So I want to make sure I'm not missing nothing because this shit is crazy. Like, it will trip you up. All right. So she's paralyzed for 7 years, right? She can't walk. Let me see where I want to start with this, where I want to go. Okay, I'll just come back. So yeah, 7 years she can't walk. She ends up when she's younger. This is what the client is telling me before we start the session, right? She's telling me how she couldn't walk at 4 years old. She goes outside and she's playing in the snow, and for no reason at all, she collapsed, and all of a sudden she's paralyzed. She tells me that this is back in the 60s. Okay, so you have to acknowledge that. She ends up having to live in the hospital and basically be like an experimental child amongst other children who have similar conditions, and they're experimenting on them and giving them different concoctions and different things to try and help them to walk again or whatever type of limbic, issues that they're having and stuff. So she has that experience. And again, for those of you guys just tuning in, I'm telling an MDR session story, one of the ones that just blew my mind, still does. And, fast forward all these years later, she's close to her 60s, or she's in her 60s, and she's still dealing with leg issues, but she did learn to walk again. She did end up walking again. The hospital did end up helping her, right? So, hold on, my bad. Let me read this. I can't see. Oh, wow. Who are you? Who are you? How do you know I know her? Like, yes, that's funny. Okay, wait. Maybe I don't even know who you're talking about. So let me see. I'm thinking about somebody else. I'm not even gonna highlight your comment because I'm thinking about somebody else. So you can elaborate with who you're talking about. Okay. All right. So all right, y'all. I'm so sorry that this is taking me a long time because I'm still tripping out about this story and I'm trying to make sure that it makes sense. So she wants to know what happened, right? Um, I'm gonna have to go back in before she was born. I'm going to have to go back before she was born. Or, okay, so I can go to the part where we're in the session, right? She goes outside to play. Her big sister puts a coat on her. Now we're actually inside of the session now, and we're re-experiencing that experience because in order for me to find out what happened, obviously, we have to go back and experience this, right? So we go back into the 60s when she's 4 years old, and she has this experience where she's outside playing and all of a sudden she falls and she gets pulled up. Okay, she gets pulled up into another reality. I'm gonna pause right there. Okay, so stick a ticket in there. We're gonna start back. We're gonna go back to when she gets pulled up and what happens there. Okay, but in order for this story to make sense, we have to go back into before she was ever born. We have to go back into when her mother, because this is a family that is not from America. They were living in America, but they're not from America. I'm not going to say where they're from, but they were from the islands, okay? So her mother, who is from the islands and speaks the island language and is living in the islands, she, for those of you who don't know, this is something that is still very common, that women in different cultures and stuff, even out here on this continent, they have concoctions for abortions. Like they can give you an abortion concoction and it can successfully abort a child, right? So her mother, before my client is born, she's not even thought of yet, right? Her mother takes this concoction and she successfully aborts the child that was going to come before my client. Okay, all this is going to make sense when I finish. I know it's like a long progression. Now you see why I couldn't write this story. All right, so she takes the abortion concoction and she successfully aborts who would have been my client's older sister. But obviously the abortion was successful and the baby was no more, right? So my client's mother attempts to do the same thing with my client. She obviously conceived and then she tries to take the same concoction, but this time the concoction does not work. She is not able to successfully abort my client, i.e. why my client is alive and able to tell me this story, right? Obviously she made it, right? So she takes the concoction and she ends up passing out, going unconscious. She, her remains or things from the inside, I'm not going to give too many details, are on the floor and she ends up not being able to successfully abort the child, right? All right, that's all we need to know. Now let's go back. Let's go back into us going through the experience of when she was 4 years old, and she's outside playing in the snow, and all of a sudden she is like pulled up, like she literally feels like someone is dragging her. Now, mind you, in my client's conscious brain, when she's telling me the story of what happened to her when she was 4, she wasn't able to tell me all this. She didn't know nothing about anybody pulling on her. All she knew was that she had went unconscious, and when she woke up, she couldn't walk. She had no injuries. She had nothing, no marks on her. Her family was just like flipping out because she could no longer walk and nothing had even happened to her. So we are in the session now, and we are able to see that she gets pulled up and she hears these voices. She can hear, but she can't see these voices talking about what's going on. And they're like, wait a minute, like, why'd you pull her up? And they're like, no, like, it's because she's not supposed to be here. And they're like, yes, she is. Like, it's okay. Like, she can do that. So my client, while we're in the middle of the session, she's explaining to me that she cannot see who is speaking. I think she was able to recall that one of the the voices was her, but she didn't know who she was speaking to. So this is about to not make sense to a lot of you guys. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry if this is going way ahead of what you understand about your reality. I'm so sorry. Okay, I'm apologizing ahead of time if this is not going to make sense to you. Okay, so yeah, that happens, and then they're like, the voices decide that she does need to come back to Earth and that she needs to continue her life. So she's vanished. Obviously, her consciousness. Oh, and then what was really interesting was a detail within this moment was like, this, okay, it's coming back to me now because I love how spiritual things take place, but they still have to respect our 3D reality. Like they still have to respect what we can comprehend and what a human with our linear brains, especially back in the 60s, we were so underdeveloped with the knowledge of who we are and what we're actually doing here. And so during this exchange of my client's voice, her hearing her voice and someone else speaking, they talked about how they didn't have that much time to make a decision because they didn't know if they wanted to take her life. Like, I think they actually did know that. And they were like, look, we got to hurry up and get her back because it's like, for us, you can't really go unconscious for that long without death being a thing. So it really wouldn't make sense for her to be unconscious for like, 5 minutes or so. You know what I mean? Like they were trying to respect what makes sense for our linear brains. So I just wanted to share that detail. So anyways, we are in this experience and she comes back into her consciousness and her family is panicking. They put her on the table and they're, nursing her and trying to figure out why she can't walk. This is when what she explained to me before we started our session. This is when this takes place. She has to go into the hospital. Mind you, this is a family that just moved to America. So they don't know much about America. They've only been there for, I don't even know if they were there for like a year. And they have their daughter that just randomly goes paralyzed. And this is back in the 60s, y'all. This wouldn't make sense today, but they agree for the hospital to house their child so that the doctors can try and figure out what's wrong with her. So, so she stays there for 7 freaking years, y'all. Like, this is so crazy. She lives in the hospital with all these other children for 7 years. It's a Black girl from the islands living with these other kids, and her family is literally having to come and visit her at the hospital. She does not leave the hospital. So this is kind of like, it's kind of like a cancer patient, a child that lives in the hospital for cancer, kind of like that, like on bed rest. And so they're coming and they're visiting her. They're bringing her her favorite island food, trying to make her feel better. And she just expresses these feelings of loneliness and a lot of sadness, and, which explains why she came to me to figure out what happened, because this was a deep part of her journey, like she's a young girl and she's having to be separate from her family in this new country. And she doesn't even know why she cannot walk. So there's this whole thing. Now, if you're wondering about this whole experimental thing, because I did ask her, she told me that while the doctors were coming up with concoctions, they were giving the other children, like they were giving them all stuff. And sometimes the things weren't working. And sometimes the things were having bad side effects. And my client just talked about how grateful she was. This is before we started our session when she told me this. She was saying how grateful she was that she didn't get any of those negative symptoms that she did see the other children get from taking these concoctions. From these doctors that were trying to figure out what happened. I'm just going to highlight my website instead of the Zelle. Okay. So that's happening. And they come up with a concoction and they end up diagnosing her with rheumatoid arthritis. And she's able to walk again, right? So obviously she goes on her whole life and she can walk, but she also deals with a lot of limb like issues and like pain and stuff like that. A lot of chronic pain that she was still dealing with during the session. So then we do the whole session. We have that whole experience. It's a lot of, details that come out and everything. And when we get to the end of this experience, I take her into the space where she planned this life. So I mentioned this, I think yesterday on my other live, how sometimes if a client really wants me to take them there, then I'll take them there automatically. But I normally don't just do it just because. I normally do it if I hear that this person has like a lot of resentment about this present life or something like that. Because I just want you to see that you did plan this. I want you to see that you did agree to being inside of this body and having these experiences, right? And so we go into that time of my client planning out this life with her guides. For those of you who don't know, after every life, we have a review and we talk about what we didn't get, what we did get from it. And you are able to agree or not agree to the next life that you're going to live. So we went into the space that we all are before we come here, right? And she's able to see herself plan out this life. And while she's there, she is able to see the other side, because not to get too deep, I'm not going to explain this right now, okay? But none of this stuff is happening in the past or the future. This is all happening at one time. Every single thing that you think is happening in a linear process is actually simultaneous. It is multidimensional. So while we're in this space and she's seeing herself agree and talk about this life that she ends up living in this timeline, she is also able to now re-experience from the other side. Because remember, before we were on the earth side, whenever we were in the space of her playing in the snow and she got pulled up, and if she couldn't really see everything, she could just hear it, right? So that's the reason why I actually took her to this part. Now I remember I took her there because I could see that we couldn't see the whole thing. So I wanted her to be in her soul form where she could get everything and there wasn't like a conscious brain interference. So we're here and now she can see the flip side, like the background of what happened that day when she was 4 years old outside playing in the snow. And what she sees is her higher self and her mother's higher self. That was the other voice that was speaking to her. Again, I don't want to confuse y'all, but the version of yourself that you are listening to this story through and watching me, it is not the only version that you have. This is a very small expansion of your soul that you are speaking through and moving through. The avatar that is being activated right now, since you came here in this timeline, it's just a very small portion of your soul that is here. But just like source energy, just like God, you are not just in one space. This is why the Bible talks about you not being separate from God. Just like source energy, this is not the only place that you are. You have a higher self. You have another version of yourself. You have a lot of infinite versions of yourself. But you have a version that looks like this version that you're in, and this version is fully aware of everything that's going on, right? So we tap into that version. And so that version of herself and that version of her mother's self was the ones having the conversation about what should be done. And the reason why this took place is because of the baby that her mother successfully aborted in the past, the baby that didn't come through versus her, which is my client, who almost didn't come through because she almost didn't make it through the veil. So the conversation that her higher self mother and her higher self is having that day in the 60s when she was 4 years old and she fell and she became paralyzed, the conversation is going like, okay, so wait a minute, what should we do? Because she ended up picking up some of her sister's abilities and gifts that the sister that never ended up coming through here. So there was kind of like a mixture of things, which honestly, the reason why this blew my mind is because what I understand about our earth experience is that there are no mistakes. Like there isn't anything that you could do. I know this sounds crazy because you guys all have been trained that there are mistakes, but my guides have told me my whole entire life that there are no mistakes and that's not actually a thing. It's just the experience. The only reason why we see it as a mistake is because humans have ego and we judge. We even judge ourselves. So it's kind of how we've been able to, pan out what's right and what's wrong, and how we've been able to place people in categories and things like that. But when it comes to how Source feels about you, how God is seeing things in your guides, there's no such thing as you actually making a mistake. You guys should teach your children this, because most of the time when I'm coaching people, I am helping them to accept decisions and things that they made that they are delusionally or illusionally seeing as a mistake, as a thing that we shoulda, coulda, woulda, didn't do. And that's not even, it doesn't even exist. We just made it up, right? So that's why this blew my mind, because it's like, okay, there's no mistakes, right? But there's karma. Karma is real. And karma is not what we think. Karma is not a negative thing. Karma is simply the law of an action having a reaction. That's it. That's it. Okay? That's the simplest, most accurate way that you could ever hear what karma actually is. It can be negative. It can be positive depending on what judgment and what story that you tell about it, but that's not actually what karma is. We've taken karma out of its context completely, because karma is literally just the law of something. I don't know why, but it cut out. So karma is just the law of something happening, and like cause and effect. Okay? These are laws of physics, okay? And so because my client's mother attempted to abort her and it did not successfully work, there was like a glitch in her entering here. There was a glitch in her womb entering. And we did ask her team, they did say, because what my client told me before we got started is that she felt like that day when she lost her ability to walk, she felt like she lost like some power. Like she said that and it's so funny because this is again why I'm not in control. You guys can feel what you feel, and you know what you know. You just don't trust yourself, and you just need the confirmation, and there's nothing wrong with that. But this is proof of that, because when my client mentioned that to me, she was like, I feel like I lost some power that day. Like I feel like I had abilities that I no longer was able to continue having because of what happened that day. And in my mind, I was like, she probably just, it's probably just negative thinking. She's probably just making that up because it just feels so horrible that the thing happened. But she was right. She was absolutely right. We actually spoke to her guides, and her guides said yes, she did end up losing abilities that she would have came through here with, but they ended up being like exchanged because they weren't really her abilities. They belonged to her sister that was successfully aborted before her. Like what? Like what? This was so amazing. And another thing I love about that though, because then something like that can make you go into a panic. It's like, oh my God, I lost powers and ability. But no, they simply were just like, if you just ask, now that you have gotten the confirmation and you're aware, just ask, and we got you. You're gonna come, you're gonna come into your abilities right after this session and throughout whatever life experience is going to happen, because now your brain is conscious and aware about that even being a possibility. And I love how simple that is, because that's really how simple healing and everything is meant to be. That is where we're going, guys, into a more simple template of healing. Okay, so I think I finished that story, but I might end up going back to it. Let me read these comments real quick, because I don't want to let the comments build up too much. Hey, 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 you in the Spanish. Hola. Okay, let me see. I've conversed, speak with Michael Jackson. Okay. I'm sorry, I can't even read all of this. It's too much Spanish. Senor, senorita. I don't know if you're male or female, but 1990. Did you speak with Michael Jackson? Is that what I'm seeing? It's very possible, you guys. I actually plan on channeling and tapping into Michael Jackson. I spoke to Jesus the other day, twice. He's been coming through the sessions, but I haven't shared that because I feel like I feel like we ain't ready, so we'll talk about that later. Oh. So yeah, let me know if y'all have any questions, any comments on this. Thank you for tuning in. I'm sorry I can't even say your name. And you're whoever you are, you're intuitive. I can see that. And I appreciate you for coming through. So yeah, y'all, this was so crazy. I'm trying to think if there was anything else that I missed, but yeah, like she ended up getting the answer. Mind you, I didn't even think that I could help her. I was like, why does she think that I can help her with this? Like, who are you? You know, like why do you think that? But I love how I don't have nothing to do with this. Like, it's not about me. It's about all of us as a collective and this string of consciousness that we're on where we don't even realize that we know things that we don't realize that we know. You know, when you say stuff like, I feel like it's this, or I feel like that, like, do you realize what you're actually saying? You're talking about your intuition. It comes through as a feeling. You know, when people ask me to describe how my guides speak to me and like what I hear from them or how I hear from them, and some of you guys can relate to this, it is so hard for me to describe this because it's not a voice and it's not just a feeling. And it's been the same way since I was a child. It's both. I even like to call it a like a voice and a feeling, or a a voice or a feeling. Like it's literally both, you know, because it's simultaneous. You know, it's like all of your senses. So when we say stuff like I feel like, you're that's your intuition. You're being obedient to what you actually feel. That's really what's happening. Okay, I've been wanting to do a session with you, past life regression, getting my money together, sis. A. Yes, let me know when you're ready. Right now, I'm doing a raffle that is only $10 for a ticket, so you can take advantage of that as well. Let me go back up so I can share the information. I have a flyer though. I have like, you guys, I suck at advertising. Please just know that I'm present and I'm here, and just follow your intuition and just reach out, because the marketing and the advertising of this I don't like. I don't like it, okay? I just want to be here and do the work, okay? It's the same way I feel about photography. If you don't know, I've been a photographer mostly all my life since I was like 10. My father was a photographer. Back in the day, it was easy. You had a Polaroid or whatever kind of camera, and you seen the image, you seen the experience, you felt it and you captured it. And that was it. And now we have DSLR cameras. And we got to worry about aperture and f-stop and lighting and all this stuff, and it's so cringy for me. I went to school for photography and I still did not get it. My brain is not supposed to be difficult. Like my brain just doesn't go with difficult stuff. It just doesn't. Like I was sitting in photography class at the front row, like taking in everything. The only student asking questions, and I still left that whole course, that whole school, and I can't tell you what the hell aperture and f-stop and all the things that matter so much in digital photography. So I'm using this as an example because you guys, I'm not good at marketing. I'm not good at advertising. I think I posted the flyer like 3 times, but I'm here. I'm live. I'm present. I am in the moment. I'm able to talk about it and explain it in my sleep. You just gotta catch me though. You just gotta be present, okay? Be present with me. So you can check out my website, earthisschool.com. If you want to know more, I offer readings and coaching, and my reviews are probably the best thing that I have because I don't have to do a bunch of marketing and advertising. You can read the reviews and you can see how people are really, their lives are really changing and they really are finding themselves and their intuition and everything. I probably have like 20 something reviews on there, maybe more. Um so yes, I am ready when you are, sis. Let me know. And yeah, y'all, it's been an amazing ride. This is like, I think about this session all the time because I just can't believe that this is a thing. Like, I still can't believe it. It's so funny. The same thing happened to you in film school. Yo, this is because we are supposed to be operating on the right side of our brains. Humans are always complicating things. We're always putting things in categories. You guys have seen me say this before. We're making science and math a separate thing, choir and art. This is all the same thing. They're actually not separate. If anything, it's like three categories. But the way that we separate things and we put them in categories, it's actually not right. It's not right. And somewhere in the ethers, somewhere in the Andromedan galaxy, I am still fully aware of these things. And luckily we are going into, that's what the new earth is all about. We are going into how we once were, whenever everything was not separate, where we really start to understand that we're not separate from God, we're not separate from each other. There really is no distance. It's just the illusion of it. When you have to cut that person off and it's so sad, or when a loved one passes away, we are really coming up. We're right on the beginning. Like, we haven't even crossed the threshold yet. We're right here. But we are really starting to understand that there's no separation. It's just the illusion of that. Deja vu. I love deja vu, y'all. I'm gonna end up writing a book on deja vu. Like, it's not even gonna be about deja vu at all, but it's gonna be about some way deeper. But this person says deja vu. I just love when people bring up deja vu, because deja vu is such a permission slip for us to understand that this reality is not what we're taught. Deja vu is deja vu and having a dream is two of those things, and I guess you can say people's NDE experience, near death experiences. These are three things that no matter what the rulers of the earth and the corrupted or whatever that they've tried to, take us away from who we really are and all this stuff and make us forget what we came here for. They just can't, like, those are things that are true permission slips because they happen naturally and they make you question. Like, why do you get a premonition? Why do you get a message in a dream? Why is the Bible and the Quran and all these other religious texts filled with people getting messages through their dreams or having a dream, and it actually ends up happening? What the hell is deja vu? I feel like I say this every day on my live. What is deja vu, right? Why would these things exist if they weren't showing you that you're infinite? You're not really this one, fleshly vessel that is a linear, have this linear brain with this linear timeline of things. That's just what you came here as, so that you can remember that that is not it. Yeah, man, it's amazing. So, okay, y'all, if you're just tuning in, I'm so sorry. Please watch this playback, because this story, y'all, let them know in the comments. This story was amazing. I love this experience of this session. I especially love that it was an experience that I had that I didn't even know or think that I could actually help the person with. So these kind of things help me with my trust and in trusting me doing these sessions and knowing that I am not the controller of this thing. I did not get into this through a school or a course or anything. I just literally, if I wish I can, like, show y'all my journey into this, because it was not easy and it was not one that I chose as far as, like, consciously. I obviously chose it. I'm doing the same thing in a bunch of lives, but I just love you. I just love that you are coming through as good as you can with your Spanish. I love it so much. I wish that I could wait till Afro Millennial Mama, when she's on here, because she can translate all this. It happens in front of you, walking and seeing it. Yep, that is absolutely right. It happens right in front of us all the time. It's proof. It's proof that it's like the truth that Jesus always talked about. Why don't we? What happened to what would Jesus do? Why we never do that no more? You remember when we used to be like WWJD? What happened to that? Can we bring that back? I feel like the collective was a lot more, like, intentional. I actually said I was going to do a video on this subject, but I feel like we were a lot more. Somebody is calling my son. I just feel like when humanity was like WWJD, like when we had the bracelets and the headbands and stuff, we were just thinking a little bit more and had a little bit more compassion. Like, do y'all notice that? It could just be me. I don't know, but I just felt like there was a lot more in tuneness going on during that time. Like, what would Jesus do? Why are we ignoring the fact that this man never said go into a religion and have my the thing that they killed me on, hang it up on your neck and put it on your walls? And he didn't even say none of the things that we're doing. He said just be Christ-like. This is Christ consciousness. He said just don't judge. He said just love. He said don't be charging the people for taxes. And like we just don't listen to nothing that Jesus said. It's just we just never listen to the guy. Like it's so disrespectful. We do everything that he said don't do. Idolizing him, everything. Like, yo, it's so crazy. But I do believe in divinity, so we've done that like we're supposed to, and we're all coming out of that as well. All right, let me know if y'all have any questions. For those of you just tuning in, you just missed a bomb ass story. I want you to go back and listen to this. Please, if you're on my YouTube, even if you're on my Facebook, thumbs up this video, heart this video, share this video right now. You can share this live right now, and whoever is supposed to get it, baby, they will get it. They are going to get it. When I tell you anything that I say out loud, no, oh. Anything that I say out loud, that I just feel it resonates with somebody. People are always like, oh my God, I did the exact same thing. Or I was thinking the same thing. Or I was asking the same, like always. So you just never know who, if you share this, you never know who you're sharing it for. And I'm so sorry if you guys missed this story, but go back, because if you have any experience with the abortion concoctions, any of those kind of things that we feel like is just like a 3D on the surface experience, it's actually very deep, y'all. I have the proof, okay? You know what's funny too about this session? I have every single session recorded, and the only session, I do have the audio, so that's good because I use this for my own studies. But the only session that I don't have the video of is this session. I don't even know what happened to it. I don't even know, like, what happened. It's probably in my computer somewhere, and I'm so not tech savvy, actually. Infinite abundance. That is right, y'all. Thank you for tuning in. Yes, 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 you guys. The more that you show me love on this app, on either of these apps, from my YouTube or my Facebook, the more that my videos are suggested to people, the more that we all grow and learn. Like, you see how that works like that? Like, I love it. So before I get out of here, I'm going to mention again my raffle. For those of you who want to take advantage of your chance to win an MDR session or a reading with me for only $10. Of course, you can buy as many $10 tickets as you want. The more that you buy, the more chance that you have of winning. I'm going to announce the winner on Friday. I think Friday. And you need to make sure that you send me a screenshot of your payments. And you want to also make sure that you send me, along with every ticket that you purchase, send me a number 1 through 25 of any random number. And you're going to be sending the funds to this Cash App. Screenshot it, or this Zelle. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. Thank y'all for tuning in. I hope this story was as mind-blowing as it was for me, and as insightful as it is. And yeah, until next time, if y'all don't have any more questions, then peace out. I realized that I don't even have my introduction when I come on here no more. Like, it's so ghetto. Like, what happened? I don't know what happened, guys. For those of you on my YouTube channel, why am I not doing that? That's whack. I should start doing that again. I have like this whole thing that I created for myself. I should start doing that. I have an intro and an outro. I just forgot. You see, I don't even like, I just like simple stuff. But I do try to keep up with what's happening. Even the flyer, like I feel like the flyer that I am doing with this raffle, the flyers don't really do, like if I was just saying it and just making a post about it, like old school, I feel like that works better. Or maybe I'm just old school. All right, you all. Thank you guys for tuning in. Peace out.